viewers, if you click the video link, chances are you're in one of three camps when it comes to Daniel Defense. You either love them, you hate them, or you don't really know much about them, and that's what brought you here, to hopefully get some information on them. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you are in the camp where you have some knowledge or experience with this, if I missed something or you want to share your own personal opinions and thoughts and experiences, please post a comment down below and help spread the word with some others that may not have as much information as you. So this particular rifle that I'm holding is a DD-M4 V7S, which is a short barrel rifle. This rifle does not belong to me. It is on loan to me, but I have had a chance to put now about 1,000 rounds out of it, so I do have a little bit of experience with it, and I feel like I may be qualified to give my opinion on it. So I was going to originally just do a review dedicated to this particular weapon, but then I started thinking it's an AR. What's so special about it that, you know, people are going to be drawn to this? There's already people talking about it. And then it kind of occurred to me that I figured I would just kind of talk about Daniel Defense as a whole and include some details specific to this particular weapon, just so you can kind of get an idea, because for the most part, all of their products that are put out share much of the same similarities in terms of their quality control, which they advertise as tighter than mil spec. And again, in my experience handling this particular weapon here, I feel like that is pretty valid. So I'll kind of bounce around and talk about the specific weapon and Daniel Defense, the company as a whole, intermittently throughout this, so hopefully I won't squirrel too hard there. So Daniel Defense does all of their stuff in-house in Georgia. So they do all their manufacturing and everything there. You're not getting a bunch of cheap Chinese junk or things being imported and having to wait on specific parts because of regulations and things like that. Everything they do is in-house here at home. So some people, that is a big draw for them, and they want made in USA stuff. So that's a good option for you there. As well, their customer service. I personally have not had to contact them. I have spoken to people who have, for various reasons, whether something was not right on the rifle or they just completely shot out a barrel. And so far to date, everybody I've talked to, their experience with the customer service has been top notch. They do have a lifetime warranty basically on everything. So even if you are a secondhand owner and you're starting to have an issue, chances are they'll send you a prepaid label so you're not paying for shipping. You can ship the weapon back to them. They'll figure out what's wrong with it. And most of the time, from what I've heard and seen, is they're not even going to charge you for it. They're just going to ship it back. And that's really hard to beat nowadays, especially if you're spending a lot of money on something. You don't want to go out and buy a $2,000, $3,000 rifle. Something breaks that's not your fault, and they're telling you, well, that's tough luck. You're going to have to pay for shipping, and then you're going to pay for the repairs and the return shipping. So I feel like that really goes a long way. Second to quality control and the good product that you're getting, customer support is definitely second on my list when it comes to something that I'm buying, especially if I'm spending a lot of money on it and or needing to potentially depend on it to save my life or somebody else. So one thing that's kind of a big deal right now when you're buying rifles, especially expensive ones, a lot of them are coming shipped in cardboard boxes. Daniel Defense does provide their weapons in a hard case with foam inside. This is just kind of a thin plastic. It's not like a Pelican case or anything, which I would not expect them to ship it in that. But it is a lot better, again, than a cardboard box. You get a little bit more protection and cushion in there than it just floating around in some cardboard. Nice little touch. Does it matter? No, a lot of people are going to put them in a sling bag type thing or get a Pelican case with custom cut foam, but this is a good option to keep it in until you can get all that set up if that's what you choose to do, or just use this case as it is. Their rifles do come with their own brand magazines. This particular one is 32 rounds. The reason that they do that, a lot of people load their 30 round mags to 28 to keep that extra spring tension off of the top rounds pushing onto your bolt, creating some drag and potentially some feeding issues. So if you're in that camp where you like to leave those last two rounds, you can load this one up to 30. So you get a little bit more capacity out of it, or you can load them full to 32 and just do it that way and have 2 extra rounds at your disposal. As mentioned in previous videos, I am a big fan of capacity. The more the better. So those are the options that you have there. Their rifles also do come with an extra butt pad. This one is sort of rounded. It kind of looks like a H&K 416 style. If you kind of like that rolling effect on your shoulder there, that's up to you. This is kind of it's kind of a hard plastic rubber combo here. It's very stiff, but you can kind of feel the squish and you can scrape into it. But you do have that option versus the completely flat one that comes on here. They also provide their rifles with their proprietary buttstock and grip. It does have some rubber texturing to it. Again, you either love it, you hate it. I know a lot of guys with Daniel Defense rifles that replace their stocks. So I'm a Magpul fanboy. I'm a fan of their stocks and grips. So I really like running their fixed carbine stock. Any of these sliding ones like this, especially if you have a beard, you're very familiar with getting your hair pinched in there depending on how you run your stock. and your cheek weld. Again, you either love it or you hate it. The grip texturing on it is nice. I haven't had any issues with that, again, for the butt pad or cheek rest. The grip on the pistol grip here is nice too. It's got a nice large trigger guard here, so if you're running gloves or you got some big hands, you have a lot more space in here to fit instead of that flat bar that typically goes straight across. Their mag wells are flared a bit to help you get those reloads a little bit faster and smoother. It's not huge. There's a little bit of a lip here, nothing substantial. Again, it's not an actual like competition mag well that sticks out pretty far, but it is nice, and it does help guide the mags in a little bit better. Their controls on their rifles are ambidextrous, so there's, again, a love-hate relationship with that for some people. I am a fan of having a smaller throw lever on the right-hand side. I am a right-handed shooter, so when I go to flip the safety down with thumb, the right side usually will graze my hand a little bit, so some people that could cause issues. Again, if you have larger hands, you could run into the issue that this is bumping into your finger and stopping, and you're not able to do it without adjusting your grip a little bit. So I know some people have issues with that. Again, there's so many things on the market when it comes to ARs. You can swap these parts out with whatever company that you prefer. It is nice, again, having ambi, because if you do switch and you shoot from the opposite hand that you are, and you keep your grip the same, then you'll be able to reach on this side with your left-hand thumb and grab it just the same. So that is a nice option. The mag release on this particular rifle is not ambidextrous. It's just a standard AR mag release, standard AR bolt hold open, bolt release here. So nothing fancy there. Some of their rifles, they do have the option for a larger paddle. I have seen this particular one does not have that. This specific rifle, and I believe all of their newer ones, have a M-LOK rail on the front here with Picatinny going across the length of the top. They are bolted on here with 4 bolts. Again, everything is nice and tight. I've noticed no wiggle, no slop, nothing, no issues there. They do have their proprietary flash hider, but I do believe that this kind of acts as a muzzle brake a little bit. That, or the way that they gas their rifles, I really feel like there's no recoil. I feel like I'm shooting a 22. Yes, I know it's a 22, but a 22 long rifle. So you are able to shoot many of their guns very rapidly and not notice a whole lot of muzzle rise. So if you're shooting those follow-up shots, especially if you're shooting competition, you're in a combat situation, you need to dump a bunch of rounds really quickly, you're able to stay on target very easily, and it's actually been a pleasure to shoot. This thing is very smooth. So like I said at the beginning of the video, it's another AR. What's so special about it? It's just got somebody else's name and a different price tag on it, and to be honest, I was actually very surprised. The very first rounds that I fired out of this thing, the only way that I can explain it is it's smooth. And again, I'm guessing that's a testament to their tighter than mil-spec tolerances, as they call it. Very, very smooth, very, very soft shooting, very easy to keep on target and get back on target and transition, especially this is an SBR. It's a little lighter, smaller, more maneuverable. You're able to throw it onto the next target pretty quickly. So whether you're a fan of M-LOK or not, that's the options that you get when it comes to that. They do have a QD mount right here on the back, right above the pistol grip, so you can use that right there. They do have one in the stock here. So on the front of the rail here, there are cutouts here on both sides at the front and rear of the foregrip where you can put QD mounts. It does have this little plate here that attaches to. Keep in mind, some people I know have had issues with specific brands, one being BCM. The little ball bearing detents will not lock in place, so they clip it in, they think it's clipped, and it just pops right out. So just keep in mind that you may run into an issue with that. I don't know of anybody having issues with the one right here in the receiver and in the back of the stock. It's just been the ones up front with their little mounting plate that goes over those holes. One thing I didn't touch on, their charging handle is ambidextrous. It does have some large latches on here, so again, if you're wearing gloves, you shouldn't have any issues grabbing it from either side. Very easy to manipulate and grab a hold of. The dust cover on here is a Daniel Defense. It is polymer, so I know some people aren't a fan of that. They don't want plastic on there where all the hot stuff is, but once it flips out of the way, it's kind of a non-issue, so I don't think that's a problem. I haven't had any issues with it. It hasn't melted off in 1,000 rounds, so again, your mileage may vary. You may have your own opinions on that. Overall, talking about Daniel Defense themselves, we talked about their build quality, we talked about their warranties, their customer service. Now, the price, so this thing as it is just a little bit under $2,000, which I feel like is not bad for a, I don't really want to call it a high-end. It's not a Noveske or an HK or a Knight's Armament, which you are going to pay for. And to be honest, I feel like this is a higher mid-tier if I had to kind of qualify it a little bit. It's obviously not a Core 15. Ugh. It's not a Stag Arms. It's not a Smith & Wesson. I feel like this is a higher mid-tier rifle. And when you, again, start going into the higher tier, again, the Noveskis, the Knights Armament, the H&K 416, to be honest, I don't feel like you're gaining that much. I do have experience shooting those rifles, and they are very nice. They are pleasant to shoot, much like this one, but at a higher price point. And when you stop and look at it, are you really gaining anything, basically making the jump from this to something else? Again, everybody's got their loyalties to certain things, just like a sports team. If you hear somebody talking crap about your sports team, you're going to jump all over them, or vice versa. Someone's boasting about theirs and you don't like them, you're going to give them an earful. It's the same thing with this. Guys that spend $3,000-$4,000 on a Knights Armament rifle, I would probably fight you too, because I don't want you saying anything negative about something I spent that much money on to make me doubt or feel bad about it, or I could have got something a little bit cheaper. Could have gotten 2 rifles for the price of 1. So again, your mileage may vary. If you have experience again with Noveskis and Knights Armaments, and you have a bunch of H&Ks laying around, and you feel like, Daniel's a piece of crap because it's not as expensive. Well, just because somebody charges a whole lot for something doesn't mean it's better. Sometimes people feel like that's the truth, but I think at a certain point you get to diminishing returns. Again, I can pay under $2,000 for this exact rifle, and then I can go spend $3,000 on a Knights Armament rifle that's the exact same dimensions, exact same barrel length, same caliber, same everything, and you're really not going to get anything else out of it. Maybe if you are able to actually wring the accuracy that is advertised out of the gun, potentially you may be able to quantify it and say, yep, my Knights Armament's better than everything out there because I can get 0.5 MOA where the Daniels are advertised as 0.75 MOA at 100 yards. Well, I can tell you that the majority of guns I've ever shot, whether they're high-end or not, I probably don't have the skill required to be able to consistently get that kind of accuracy out of them, and the gun is always going to be more accurate than me. And I've said that about many things. I'm never going to claim to be the greatest shooter in the entire world. So again, you may be able to wring that accuracy out and boast and say that that's why it's better, and that's fine, and if it works for you. But for the people that are not sure, you're looking for your first rifle, and you hear people say, buy once, cry once. The Daniel Defense line of rifles definitely gets my seal of approval for, again, multiple reasons. Quality control, customer service, the warranty, and the quality that you're actually going to get out of it, and the longevity of the weapon itself. So again, if you shoot 100,000 rounds out of your Daniel Defense rifle and blow the barrel up, you send it back to them on their dime, they fix it, give you a new barrel. They'll also look over the whole thing, make sure everything is good to go, replace any worn parts, clean it up for you, send it back on their dime again, and you've basically got another fully functional rifle that you're ready to blow the barrel up again. So something to just keep in mind. I didn't feel the need to do any kind of shooting montage or anything like that with this. It's shooting an AR. I'm not really sure what I'm going to show you. If you want to see that kind of stuff, you can go watch Grand Thumb or T-Rex Arms or any of those other guys that do that kind of stuff. I don't have the video editing skills or a cameraman that can follow me around and get those high-speed action shots, so that's what you get, me just sitting here at a table talking about the gun. If you would like to see me run it and shoot it into a couple drills, let me know down below and I'll be glad to do that. Again, I didn't really feel it was necessary. I just wanted to kind of get the points across about the rifle itself and Daniel Defense as a whole. So if you do have any questions, you feel like I didn't cover anything in this video, you have your own experience, whether it's good or bad, just leave a comment down below and I'll be glad to get back to you. If you have a question about something, I can respond to your comment in text, or I'll even be glad to make another video or short addressing your question or your issue. So anyway, thanks for your time. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.